Hello and welcome to another video from Mr. Excel 101. In today's video I'm going to be talking about data manipulation and extracting key information from long text strings. So for today's session we're going to cover some key functions, the left, right, mid and find functions within Excel. So in my data set today I've got some university students, I've got their name, their address and their student ID. What I'm interested in though, in this first example, is from this student ID, which is a 9-character reference, what are the first 6 digits to represent the student ID, what is the intake year, which is the last 2 digits of this code, and what course is the student on, which is the letter in the middle. So obviously I could manually manipulate this data, but if I want to do it for all of these strings, the quickest way is going to be using a formula. So using the left function, so if I type in left, then this basically counts the number of cells from the leftmost character. So if I select my range and put in the 6 for the 6 digits, then from the very left-hand side of this cell it is counting the first 6 digits, characters within that string and extracting those as so. So you can see those are all my unique strings. If I do the intake year, then because this is at the very end of the string, I can use the right function and it will always be those last 2 characters. So in this instance I'm going to, the formula counts from the right hand side of the string backwards. So for this I'm going to highlight the text again and put down 2 characters, and that will pull me the intake year. So those last 2 characters are from that string. For the student course, that letter is in the middle of the string. So you can see in this instance all of my strings are the same length, they're all 9 characters long, and that letter is in the 7th character from the left hand side. So if I use the function mid and select the cell I'm interested in and the start number, if I know that it's always going to be the 7th character and it's always going to be 1 character long, I can just put in those numbers as so, and it will pull out my letter. What you may find is actually the text you're interested in isn't always in the same place. So for example, if I look at my addresses, if I'm interested in pulling the city out of this data set, Birmingham has a lot more letters than Cardiff. From this range though, you can see I've got a consistent delimiter, which is the comma. So what I'm going to try and do is focus on that comma and actually use that to split my cell up. So how to use the find function. So if I type in find and put in quotations what I'm after, so I'm looking for the comma, and then select the cell that I'm interested in and put the start number as 1, then that will find me where the comma exists in each of those cells. So for this first row here in the address, the comma is the 14th character in this range. So that means that I can now use that to break up this string into 2 parts. So if I use the mid function again and select my range and then put in a comma and put my start number as where that comma is, then I could put my number of characters as, for example, 100, say, and close that all off, and it would pull me what the address is. So that's included the comma in this instance. So to exclude the comma, so within this range here, I've got the find, and that's actually what the start number is. So I could just add +1 onto that, and that will get rid of the comma. And obviously if you always know it's a space after the comma, then you could put +2, or you could trim the entire range. So that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is slightly more complicated, but if you know for certain that the city will be to the very right hand side of the string that you're interested in, but you don't know how many characters it is, then the other way of doing it would be to count from the right. So in this instance I'm going to get rid of my +1 and take it back to the find. So again, from our comma, we could count right. So from the right hand side of this string we could count backwards to pull Birmingham out. So in order to do that we could use our right function, select the range and the number of characters. So from our calculation before, we had 14 characters, and that 14 is counting from left to right, which means that the 14th character here is not going to be the character that we want from Birmingham backwards. So in this instance, we want to find the number of characters in the total string, which we can find from using the len function. Put that there, and then put in a minus to subtract our 14 initial characters. Close that all off. So in this instance, then that has given me the Birmingham again. And as per before, if I copy that and paste it as value, then you can see here that there is a space. So one way to clear that is just to type trim, close brackets, and if I copy and paste that now, you'll see that it's got rid of that string, that space that was before Birmingham. Okay, that concludes today's video. I'm going to be doing another video on find function and where we've got, for example, a delimiter in more than one instance. For more content, please like and subscribe and comment if there's anything specific that you would like covering. Thank you.